Well, as you said, we do business with a broad range of people, from those that are just playing a guitar on their sofa at home to performing artists. But again, they're all looking for the same thing. It doesn't matter what their place is in the world of music. They want to connect with the instrument that they have in their mind, and so it's something that we try to provide across the board, no matter how educated they are about what they're looking for or not. We can steer them along to what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Inevitably, we're all kind of we're having to change our marketing tactics, and all businesses are. We're not. Most of our customer base is older. It always has been, and the goal is always to try to connect with the younger audience, the up and coming buyers. And that's a little tricky to do. So social media obviously provides an avenue for this, and we're not necessarily that big of fans of Instagram and Facebook and all of that, but we recognize the importance of putting that into place. It's kind of like back in the 90s when there was a point when George determined he needed a website, which is odd to even think about, but that was probably a difficult change to make and hard to adapt to. For us, social media has been like that, but it's a necessity, and it's something that we recognize has to be in place for our future buyers. So we've put a lot of effort into that, and continue to do so. It's recognizing those coming trends and putting them into place, which is so critical.
How does that change or enhance maybe the culture that you have here?
Well, it certainly brings in a younger audience, for sure. It helps us connect in different ways with younger players, and in particular, there are more women playing guitar now than probably ever, and that's something that we certainly want to steer a lot of our marketing towards that, to address that, because that's the future of a lot of music right now, and we want to have an environment that is appealing in that sense. So that's also another change that we've put into play outside of social media that we're trying to direct our marketing towards.
Yeah, when you're working on the culture of your organization, it's not a flip the switch and the very next day you have this great culture. It's small intentional movements within an organization to set sort of a new path for culture.
Just portraying the aspects of the business where we're really strong that people don't think about. You mentioned the repair shop. We've really tried to promote that. Like, understand, we've done a lot of videos with the repair the employees individually, kind of explaining what they're doing to better educate our audience, and that sharing some of that knowledge is very useful in making people trust us. They understand that we know what we're talking about, we know what we're doing. So trust is a powerful thing in this, and we've tried to draw attention or shine the spotlight on certain aspects of our business that really promote that or convey that. Reputation is a big deal. That's something that is obviously hard to earn and easy to damage and lose. You have the margin of error has to be extremely low. Obviously, you can't hit it 100%, but that's something that you have to work pretty hard to protect, and that's a pretty important aspect of a long-term trusted organization, which is what I consider us to be. Obviously, that, and just basically, going with the changes. Again, we weren't necessarily crazy about the social media platforms, but hey, that's part of it. That's the way it works these days, And as far as buying goes, we were talking. I mentioned just a second ago about clicking and buying a guitar.
Yeah,
online.
sure, yeah.
Well, for many, many, many years, in fact, for all the way up until last year, we did not sell instruments online in that fashion.
Wow.
Reverb is a platform that specializes in that, but the disadvantage is you have a lot of individuals selling instruments that may not be able to properly represent them because they don't have the understanding of what the instruments are. But yet you're clicking and buying an instrument. So, we decided that because the culture is such now of the way a lot of people like to shop, that we should offer that service. So we do in a very controlled fashion. Anything that we feel like requires further explanation or clarity, we always contact the person who's purchased the guitar before we actually ship it to them and walk through. In other words, we force them to understand what it is they're getting, because that's part of that trust thing. We don't want anybody to be surprised. So again, that's just communication. That's being you can have it both ways. You can have the click and buy, but to still have a connection with the customers is very important to us. We put a lot of a lot of diligence into conveying clear information, okay? Because that's what one thing as far as our authenticity goes, that sets us apart from a lot of people. We don't want there to be any questions about an instrument that someone is buying. We want them to have a very clear understanding of it. So we try to be thorough and take whatever time is necessary to walk a buyer through the purchase of the instrument. It's not as simple as clicking on a button like so many things are these days. There's a lot to it. So being thorough and being very clear and transparent and forthcoming with all the information, that's extremely important to us. And people are very confident when they make a purchase as a result of that.